welcome back. I feel really honored to tell you about one of the biggest stories that I covered last year in Henry County, and I had no idea. People said you got to go out to the CrossPoint Easter drop.
Egg drop.
Egg drop.
Yeah, egg drop.
Egg drop. And I said, okay, that sounds kind of neat. Because there was the helicopters and all that kind of stuff. I went out there and it was 2,000 to 3,000 people out there, and I could not believe it.
Yeah.
I've got Kim and Carl Keith here with me tonight. The guys that, what's the way to say, you guys, I don't say y'all run it because all the staff runs it.
Oh, we've got a
Yes.
great staff and volunteers. It's just amazing.
Right.
We run alongside with them.
There you go.
The CrossPoint crew.
There you go. And you guys are getting ready for the second annual egg drop.
Yes.
So let's talk about it.
Okay. It's scheduled for Saturday, April the 7th, and we are expecting we're preparing for 3,000 children. And so the way that you get your kids registered is you go online. It's www.crosspointeggdrop.com. That's the only way to register this year. And we strongly advise that you register because we're making up 3,000 of these bags of candy. They're about like this, and we're going to have enough to give to each child. We don't want a child coming in and not getting a bag of candy.
Right. That's one of the things I have greatly respected about you guys. You guys do church like nobody else.
Wow.
You come in your jeans, you can be who you are, and you guys always, from everything I can see, you're trying to help people that might not be able to afford things right now in this hard economic times.
Yeah.
This will be a fun event that's totally free.
Yeah, we don't charge anything. Try to give away stuff. Just make it a fun environment, for people to come to and have a good time.
Right. If people want to help you do this, can they help? Because usually there's a lot of people in this town that want to help, if they just don't know what to help.
Oh, sure, they can donate bags of candy.
Okay.
We now have church offices in Stanleytown in the old Stanley Furniture Building, and we're storing the candy. We have a group right now having a candy bagging party there tonight.
Right.
So if they wanted to drop off candy, they could drop it off at the Stanleytown. It's 1401 Fairstone
Park Highway.
I'm gonna give this to my graphics guy. Make sure we get that website, because I didn't know the website was going to be that big of a deal.
Okay.
This year's a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah, last year we tried pre-registration, and it took so much time. So this year, instead of having the people in line, you pre-register, and we're going to mail you your wristband.
Okay.
And that way you'll get that ahead of time, and all you got to do is have it on. That's your ticket to get through, and you can just walk straight through without having to go into a line.
Right. I mean, were y'all kind of shocked at how many people showed up?
Oh, we were just floored. Yeah, it was amazing. And we're anticipating more this year, but we're going to be better organized and have more stuff and more going on throughout the day.
Let me see if I can get my producers to roll the video and explain to folks what's happening, because I don't think not everybody's heard of what an egg drop is.
Okay.
All right, let's roll video and let's talk about what we're seeing. This is Bassett. Was this last year?
This was last year. Bassett High School, and we had all the people registered. They got their bands by color code because we don't want 2-year-olds out on the field with 11-year-olds. So we do 4 drops.
And explain for me why is that?
Well, the 11-year-olds might run over the
Clobber.
2-year-olds, and it's just not safe. We wanted to be safe for all the children.
So you have how many groups?
4 groups.
Okay.
The small ones, 2 and 3-year-olds. The
Next one's 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
And then the 6 through 8, and then 9 through 11.
Okay.
And the parents can go out with the first group. And they can go out with the younger kids.
Okay.
And the copter will come by, drop the eggs, and then we'll have already a bunch of eggs on the field. And so, as you can see there, and so then the kids will just, they go across that field, and those eggs are gone in like no time.
They clean it. If the parents could get them to clean their room like that, it would be amazing.
Maybe they'd see to put Easter eggs in the room.
So they just wipe the field clean. We put out that many eggs for each group. And this year we've got some really cool entertainment going on in between the drops. The Bassett Drumline is going to perform. Marshall Way Art Karate group is going to do some things for us.
And the CrossPoint
Drama Team is going to perform. So while they're spreading out the eggs, we'll have entertainment going on. The Easter Bunny will be there for pictures. Bring your own camera. It won't cost you anything. Just take pictures. You can print them out. But as far as the registration goes, we're going to register kids up until April the 1st. If you want to pre-register. That way we'll have time to mail the bands back out. And get your band and treat that like it's your ticket to the event.
Okay.
If you just show up, we can't guarantee you're going to be in.
Right.
You've got to pre-register. If we have some open spots, then you can come in after that. But
it's not because you don't want to. It's just because
we have to prepare. We give each one of them bags of candy, and so we've got 3,000 prepared.
Right.
And that's how many we know that probably going to pre-register.
Hadn't this turned into be like the biggest thing y'all do? I mean, as far as community-wise?
Yes.
It's huge.
Yeah.
The trunk or treat was it's getting closer.
What did you get this idea?
I actually heard of another church doing it
Right.
off somewhere else, and they had done it, and I thought that would just be so cool, and just something different, you know, and just providing something in the community. You know, community events are great. People love it. They get to see people out and have a good time, and it doesn't cost them anything.
Right.
So.
We had a young guy from our church. He played music the whole time while people were coming in, and we've got bounce houses, and Bassett Band Boosters will be doing concessions. So they're selling hot dogs and things like that. All the money from the sale of the concessions goes to the Bassett Band, so that's a blessing for them. And then it's just a fun, cheap event for people to bring their families to and have a good time and be safe.
Right. I don't know if y'all read the Roanoke Times over the weekend. They did this bleak article about Martinsville, Henry County, about how we're just dying, and they need to come cover this, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, this is to me why I love our town, because when we do it right, we do it better than anybody. This is one of these events.
And it's not about CrossPoint Church. This event, we don't really pressure people into coming to Cross. That's not what it's about. A lot of the things we do in the outreach is just showing God's love. We are going to share with the reason for Easter. You know, we're not going to spend a lot of time on, but we're going to share with people. And then also we're going to make ourselves available if anybody there is going through a hard time, just needs somebody to pray with them or just help them, talk to them.
Right.
You know, just make ourselves available to serve the people in the community.
Because you've learned with Christianity, you can't push it down.
No. You make yourselves available. I think you learn more by leading by example, of showing God's love.
And this is really a win for our church. Last year we were out there and we had music going and we were clapping, we were just having a blast, and all the volunteers. And I had a young woman, probably late 20s. She come up to me and her husband was there, her daughter was there, they were volunteering. They were just having a blast. And she never stopped. She says, my mouth is hurt from smiling so much. She said, I don't know when I've ever had this much fun. And that was one of our volunteers. So sometimes it shows people you can have fun being a Christian. You can have a really good time when you're serving and doing things for other people. And you take somebody that's depressed or down or so focused on the bleakness of our county, you get out and you do something like this and you see all that happiness and you see families doing things together, it just kind of erases that for a little while. So that's a good thing.
Right. I've been amazed at watching y'all's church grow.
Be 4 years Easter.
Right. So Easter was when we started?
Yeah, Easter Sunday 4 years ago is when we started.
Right. Because I came over for like the first month or two, did some camera work.
Yeah.
And I watched the place grow that far, and then you guys are continuing to do. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so we went from there to 2 services now, and we've got one at 9 a.m. and 10:45. They're identical, but we just really feel like we're helping people right where they're at. You know, we just feel like that.
But I think what's going to shock people, because they kind of see how church grows, and people say, well, they got to have the big building. That seems like to be the next step. But I asked you about it before the show started. You said, no, that's not our big step.
Yeah, it's not what we're looking for. People say, you've grown so much in 4 years. When are you going to build a building? It's kind of like the mentality of a church. You get to a certain size, you build a building. Yeah. But because we don't have a building, we're able to give back to the community more. We're able to do more things in the community. And I think the school atmosphere for people that are don't go to church or for whatever reason, it's a non-threatening atmosphere where they can come in and just kind of see what's going on. Right. So. But we keep it kind of simple. I mean, we don't water down the gospel, as some people say. We teach what the Bible says, but we meet people right where they are. Yeah. Right where they are.
Now, I've watched the show. I mean, I'm a viewer. I watch the show. And it comes on all the time on Channel 18 mornings and Saturday morning and all Sunday morning. Yeah. One of the things I see you doing is that along with it, it's a little bit of therapy going on. Where you talk to people saying, now look, if you're in this rut, I mean, and I think every month the story changes or the series changes. Yeah. But you're dealing with people's common day problems like paying bills.
Yep. Right. We'll do a financial series. Yeah. It's not just about giving money to the church. I always say that. This is not about this. This is about helping you to understand, God's principles about your money. We talk about, every year I'll do a marriage series because that's where people are hurting. They're hurting their marriages. We'll do 4 or 5
come on,
weeks.
man. It's hard to live together 24/7.
And then you teach about, and then parenting.
And what have you learned through this? What have you learned through doing this?
It's just amazing that how the Bible has just got so many things that really apply to our everyday lives. And if we just
think it's such an old book, you know. Well, that's from our grandparents' stuff. That was it. But if you pull it out and you read it, you find out there's a lot of things in that book that you can apply to everyday life, and that's what we kind of found out when we were working with youth. They wanted stuff that they could use, and if you give them stuff that they can apply to their lives and use in their everyday life, it makes them much wiser. It makes them make better choices.
Right.
If you can show them God's way is the best way.
Another thing I've noticed, you don't raise your voice. I mean, you watch the traditional church, and people are screaming at each other.
I think they'll get screamed at for an hour.
And I've learned also that when you can share your own imperfections as I speak, and just, you know, and everybody realizes that, hey, nobody's perfect.
Right.
And that we're all trying to better ourselves, and you don't, you know, have all this list of rules that you've got to follow, or you're just doomed.
Does she get to be the scapegoat sometimes?
Yes. She preaches to me all week.
I practice on her, and then I go preach. I said, why didn't you listen to the message this morning? I've already heard it.
I've heard it.
But I tell you what, it's amazing. I want our producers to throw some video, because every month the background changes.
Yeah.
And I think this, it's like, it's at hippie month or whatever.
You know, it's one of those things that kind of catch people's attention.
It does.
They come in and they're like, we've used some of the craziest things. Like a couple sets ago, our set was based on trash cans from IKEA.
Really?
We've used air filters. I mean, we take the craziest things, and we've got a few guys who just do the neatest. That's kind of like
how did y'all do that background?
That is staff on board, and we've got a guy, Derek McGee. He's fabulous. He just tinkers around and goes and finds stuff and says, hey, what would this look like if we do this?
Right.
With today's society, especially with the younger generation, there's so much technology involved and things like that. And I think that just adds to their attention, and it relates. And a lot of people say, well, why do you preach in blue jeans? And I think that just really helps bring down the wall of people that don't have suits.
Because I remember the day you used to be in a three-piece suit.
Where I was before, I wore a suit. But when we started this ministry, we'd already determined this is what we were going to do. But it's not been, you know, if people wear suits, that's fine.
Has anybody given you a hard time about it?
At the beginning, yes. It was like, you know, you can't do that. You can't preach if you're not in a suit. But
people would kind of turn off out of it first.
Yeah, and if you want to wear a suit shirt, that's fine. We tell people, if you want to, that's fine.
Right.
But I just feel, I learned this in Peru when I went to South America for the first time. And we were in a third world country. And if you wore anything expensive, you know, that was just, they felt so inferior to you. It was just a wall there.
Right.
And so I felt like that, you know, if I dress in jeans, that really helps me relate to the people without a wall being there.
Right. Do you tell me your biggest wish is to have more people to help, more staff?
Yeah, well, you know, people keep saying, I want a building, you know, well, when you they don't say that, but they say, when are you going to build a building?
Right.
And we're like, that's not really in the plan right now, you know, and I would really like to have more people where we could reach out to help more people, if that makes sense.
Right. In other words, to do the job versus the...
Yeah.
Do you think churches sometimes lose the focus with the building?
Maybe, because you can get into such expenses, and it just puts so much more of a strain sometimes when you get in there. And if you've got the finances to do it, I always tell our people, if y'all want a building, show me the cash. We'll pay cash for a building, you know.
Right.
But
you don't want to go into debt.
I don't want to go into debt. No.
Right.
Because then that ties you down. It hinders you from the things that you can do.
Right.
To reach out.
But I'm not saying we'll never have a building. Right. Because there may be a time that, hey.
I guarantee you it'll be a different kind of building.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've already got in my mind, if we ever had one, I'll say that's the kind of building we'll have right there.
It will not be a...
it won't be your traditional church building. It will be more of a multi-purpose facility where it can be used for a lot of different things.
Has this strategy, has this concept worked for you guys?
Yes. As far as the way we're doing it now, yes. No doubt. People say, well, what's in the future? You know, we don't have a year one plan, a year two, a year three. It's like, people say, how did you grow this church to what you're at now in 4 years? How'd you do that? And I said, I just let God lead, you know. And what's next? I have no idea. Sometimes it scares you to death. You're thinking, what's next? You know, but it's just worked.
Right.
And we just try to stay humble and keep people, you know, meet people where they are, and it's just working. Right.
Let me tell you the experience that I had with you that I gained a lot of respect for you, and that's when Tim Whitehart had his problems, and you came and addressed the public.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a hard day for you?
Yeah, it was very difficult.
How's Tim doing?
Tim is doing good. I had spoken with him recently, and probably a lot of the audience don't know, but he's doing well. He and his wife and family are doing well. He's back in the ministry now. He's gone through a restoration process and back in the ministry. And I was talking to him, and they're involved in a new church plant, and they're actually getting ready to go into a school, from what I understand. And
explain. What do you mean?
That's going to do kind of what we're doing.
Oh, okay.
We were a church plant, started from scratch, and we met in a school. And so now they're in a church plant, and in Palm Beach, that's where his wife is from. Okay. But he was just telling me that, that he's pastoring that church there, and they're getting ready to go into a school, and he was real excited about it. And so I'm just really thrilled.
Are you guys good friends?
I haven't talked with him a lot since that happened. Before all that happened, we were in the ministry for a long time. Right. And he was my mentor. He was the one that I learned so much from. Yeah. And I'm forever thankful for that. Right. And I'm just thrilled that he's back in the ministry, and I think he'll be stronger than he's ever been.
Yeah, I get to some people, because I've had to deal with this myself, they say, you shouldn't be doing this job, because of your past. Yeah. Do you think that? I mean,
no. I believe that God forgives, and He's the God of second chances. And I really believe that through his experience and what happened, he was deceived, and I think he's going to be stronger than he's ever been. Right. I really do. Right. I told him that the other day. I think you'll be stronger than you've ever been.
What do you do to tell people? Because I mean, it's something I've had to go through. Yeah. Because there's some people that just don't want you to get there. Yeah. It's like, you've sinned and you.
One thing that we teach our people at church, and I've said it in messages before, is we never put other churches down, because different people are in different philosophies, and they do have. Right. And there's a lot of churches in this community that's doing great things, and they may do it a little different than we do. And man, I'm thankful for them, because they're doing God's work, and that's what it's all about. But I think sometimes we can get into getting into it too much, where we beat each other just because we don't maybe agree with the music or the way you dress or something like that. But,
right.
But you look at the Bible, at the characters in the Bible. Take David, for instance. God said he was a man after his own heart, and God loved him and he used him. But golly, David was an adulterer. He was a murderer. He did a lot of bad things, and God still turned around and used him and his son.
One of the greatest characters in the Bible.
Yeah, so I mean, that just shows you right there, God is a God that loves and forgives. If he didn't forgive us, what was the point in dying on the cross? And he gives us chances to do better and do great things, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Right. Who does your hair? Your hair, I mean.
Actually, I have two teenage daughters, one graduating from high school this year and one graduating from college, so I'm pretty broke. Most of the time I do my own hair.
But you look 10 years younger than you did last year.
Well, thank you.
Something's working.
I do have my brother's ex-wife does it most of the time, Tammy Bowles, and I love her, and we're still good friends, and she takes care of me.
I tell you what, I think this church thing has helped her. I have seen you blossom.
I love it.
We just feel right where we're supposed to be.
You looked a little nervous at first.
She was.
I was. This TV thing is not my favorite. Right. Getting in front of people. I'm more behind the scenes. Put me in a room full of kids, and I am good to go. Right.
There's a little bit of magic that you guys do, and that is the kids ministry going on while church is going on, which is in a whole different department.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's like going to Vacation Bible School every Sunday.
It is. Yeah. We believe it should be the most fun hour a kid has all week, and we always ask two questions: did you have fun, and what did you learn? Right. And that's our goal, for them to want to come back, and the more they want to come back, the more they're going to learn. Yeah. And we have an amazing team that just goes above and beyond, that does stuff.
One of the big successes of our church has been the volunteers. It is amazing, the volunteers that just make themselves available each and every week. All right. So that's huge.
All right, let's go over the egg drop, because that's why we're here. Yeah. But you know me, I get all of these hands. And we got the website up there. That's good. Right. People need to write that down and get on it tonight, because you want to get in line, because you want your kid to go to this event. It's probably the coolest event. It can rival with Christmas now. Yeah. Aww. I mean, it's that big of a deal. And you want to write that down and tell them what they need to do, Kim?
Okay, they go to the website is very, very simple. Okay. Even I can use it. And you can go to it, you can click on to register. It has a page that gives the breakdown of everything, the schedule of events that's going to happen that day. It tells you any questions you have, like what do I do if I lose my bands? What do I do if I didn't pre-register? It's got everything on there that you need to know. Right. And so John Phelps, a guy from our church, he put all this together, and it is a great website. So. Okay.
And please pre-register, because if we have 4,000, we can be prepared for that. But right now, we're prepared for 3,000. So.
Right.
And that would be the worst thing if a child was to come through and we'd have to look at that child and say, sorry, no candy for you.
So it
We're
just
out of
helps us to
bags.
prepare.
Right. It costs nothing, right?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And we will be giving away some prizes here and there and throughout the day.
Great things to throw out to the crowds. And
And half it rains.
It's not going to rain.
It's not going to rain.
We're going to claim it now. It's not going to rain.
Everybody pray it's not going to rain.
We'll post something on the website. Everything will be done on the website. If there's any changes or anything, it'll be done on that.
Okay. All right.
Check that.
All right. And whatever happens, we'll also put it on our TV too.
Okay.
We've got over 60,000 pieces of candy
Wow.
that we're bagging up and putting in the bags.
That's awesome. Well,
that's
guys,
super cool.
I think you do great work. And
you.
I've loved watching it grow. And y'all have been so nice to us.
Well,
Some of the nicest.
you've been great to us.
Yeah.
So we just appreciate
Bringing that camera when we first started out, and that was such a blessing.
Right. And I like your concept that the building's not that important.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, I do encourage you. This is one of the coolest things you can get your family to do. And if I were a kid, I'd want to be there.
We hope you're going to come by anyway.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Come on,
I'll
you
be a
can
kid
be the
that
biggest
day.
kid there.
That's right. That's
Give
right.
them the camera.
Write that website down right now and get on it and get registered tonight.